son jikundi jidani je karin chemo slogan chemo bemanjone tenila ti yone yon rong lonna tu do no tanchi lo delicious is on the secrets.
So that the Lama as the condensed nature of all the Buddha of the three times that which appears in form of Guru Padmasambhava, and that where we feel grateful to his presence, and in that way one have to carry through the supplication prayer. Then in our day-to-day lifetime, whatever kind of just activity we do, just walking or eating or sitting, in all this period of time, or not to forget the just Guru and concentrate in that way is important. It is important to just abide in the mingling of one's mind and then the Guru's mind, where that whatever source of afflicted mind may arise, not to just run or chase after that. It is important to just carry through the supplication prayer towards the Guru in the sense even that when it seems that there are negative forces or evil forces that which creates a problem, then not to just conceptualize and not to have that sense of reject and just carry through the practice. Then other times whenever we have any kind of sickness in our body, then visualize the Lama above one's head, and then from the Lamas that illusory body just descend down the nectar, and that which purifies all the sickness and disease. In that way, just doing the prayer and supplicating, that will just help.
Sonamla soba panjoji shawa kono kondruna yon shawa drutum mendrupsi sentence on the little pembakayo madise tanjiji lama la sorata tende chido tenaton jijo rangi letter done then garina sonam jungris.
So even in our worldly activities, just relating with our jobs or finance and economics and so forth, when we have any kind of problem, then worrying about that, it does not really help. So even it is better if one do this, prayer to the Lama and then, carry through the practice and just relying upon the Guru in that way, where one can just accumulate merit and then through which one can just get some benefit.
Sanam dena, sandan sanjin nupsayare, mela sanam yana, leka karicha sanam, sandan nugres.
If we have enough accumulation of merit, then whatever we really wish to accomplish anything in this world, it is possible that we could just really achieve that. And if there is no accumulation, then it is difficult.
Sanam sawati, so division adun, lama sawata ba tenam kiti, later taadun, sanam pavati tenam yongi yare.
So just accumulating merit and then also just try to do all this practice to purify our obscurations and negativities, and through that, as we do the prayer to the Gurus, that which helps to purify the karmic obscurations.
Xiangi sanjeji tembi disu di toni dini che yong taba di nyamsu len tendeji zo ondi metela rangyu ki leji diwata ni toni sanam di
So in general, that as we enter into the Buddha Dharma practice, taking refuge in, and then as we do all these, practices, that naturally that oneself is accumulating merit through which one can get all these, benefits and blessings.
So Mia Deres, Ena di Jornedi, Ranhuki, Sendage Banjolon Lasova, Tenatanju, Ranhuki, Mama Huki Yungres.
So if one have enough accumulation of merit through this, practice, that is the main cause to, attain enlightenment, and based on that, even just this relative world, whatever one need to just gain something, that will also just, naturally happen.
I don't know, so the Lidic in a shelter, Manda Pavado, the Chepalas of a method, Manmelas of Chepiri, and also the Senam beginning conjunction to Donna, this guy had the son of Pegades.
So, for such as a physical body, just doing the prostrations, and then circumambulation, and then making all different kinds of offerings such as mandala, flowers and incense, in that way, that which is also a more physical activity to accumulate the merit. And whatever sorts of that offerings we just do, and at that time just having some hesitation or doubt whether this is just beneficial or not, or just even that having the kind of attachment relating with that just object, then it may not really accumulate in just the total amount of that merit. So it is important that where one's body, speech, mind, that all three involved in that kind of activity of offering, and with the just a pure intention and devotion and inclination towards it. And also the verbally just to purify the obscurations, that such as chanting all these prayers and mantras, that with the kind of sincere and clear, and also with a certain kind of melody, and that which also help to purify the speech obscuration. And also that which helps to reduce your all these worldly worldly just conversations, or all this kind of gossips relating with the just hatred or anger or jealousy, that kind of just verbalization, that one have to work on it, try to reduce as much as possible. So especially relating with these, like a retreat where you have the retreat actual practice session, and then just post meditation stage. In those time, the best if one could just try to not to express any just words, in a sense, just try to keep it more silence, and that in generally needed. For example, like those who are in the retreat, like just some are even like weeks or months, even those who are in a 3-year retreat, most of them, they try to be just, silence.
Lots of it
So even in like Tibet and India, there are many practitioners who are just in the 3-year retreat and they never ever just really talk, just keep, complete silence.
대신에 나지 디디반스 단지 파라 도버시 바동 송지실라 손 뉴바르 어떤데 용거를 대인이 나지 니파 페르와도 이네 랑기 땀다지 셴나오 센텔라 펜토가 된데 용이요 니파데.
So that way, of course, we are not accumulating any just negative, and through which just chanting the prayers and mantra that purifies the speech obscuration, and one can receive the speech blessing, and even we just does some prayer also that can be just become more effective. So otherwise, we are just chanting prayer and then again talking and then chanting prayer, getting mixed up with all this kind of thing, then it is not that much effective. So especially that during this retreat, when you have your actual practice session, then just try to keep in silence and then concentrate on your practice. It is just good. This is not kind of dictatorship, just saying you cannot talk. So it is because that you can just receive that kind of blessing and to purify your speech obscuration. For that is why that it has been explained. So when we just talk all this kind of worldly gossips, and then of course naturally our mind how it involved with all this kind of afflictions. Even we just tell some stories about worldly things, but still somehow there is involved the the afflicted mind, that which is just kind of relate with some kind of negative just speech. So of course when we express some word, even we try to be just kind of more neutral, but still there is some attachment towards somebody you like, or some kind of hatred to somebody which you don't like, and according to that you are just verbal expression just driven, just kind of got already afflicted in that way. For example, like even sometimes you watch a movie and then just in the movie itself, those scenes, according to that, sometimes you like and that you have attachment, sometimes you hate, and you just create that negative things. So it is just because we ourselves naturally have all these kind of delusions, the passions in our mind stream. That is why when there is some external condition, it just become a condition to give rise to it. If we don't have that attachment, ignorance, and hatred, if we don't have, then it is okay. So in normal life, to be silent, of course, it is difficult. But during the retreat or just when you are doing your practice, try to be just more silent. It is good.
The Tamjikana, Churchikana, Tamkana, the yard and they do the energy,
and even we talk about, just teachings also, that where we say, oh, this is good, or this is not so, just makes sense, or this is something like this, and all this kind of just chit-chats are happening. And that way, it does not just really help for oneself.
This
all these secret mantrayana teachings, it is that the mainly based on the ultimate nature, the definite meaning. It is there is nothing we really need anything to examine.
Whatever
it is been instructed by the Lama and the teachings, that which we try to understand and then apply into practice, there is
and
if we try to just examine, of course we have all different kinds of concepts, that it is possible we can give rise to many different kinds of concepts, and that does not really help. And just giving rise to all these kind of afflictions and the concept that we cannot attain enlightenment. For example, like the Dzogchen teaching about texture, which means that try to cut the concepts that where there is no continuity of the afflicted mind.
That Yanda Andora Ngambala Soba Tikor Tantuti, then Omado Tikor Tantuti, Sheba Shed, Sanoton, then Cassena, not to produce Sheguers.
And like other practice, more like based on the sutra, that based on like a more physical and verbal studies, such as Vinaya Sutra or Madhyamik, and then this Prajna Paramita. For such things, we need to just really examine and try to just intellectualize and then try to understand, and where we can just really examine. That where it goes, very detailed and very specific examining through the teachings. For example, like in India, in Namdaling, this monastery, the academic studies that they study for 9 years, just going through all this kind of examining and debate and whatever that Kempo taught, and then they again just concern on that, then they study on it, just do research, and that way they just really get into the depth of the meaning. And in that way, then where just try to understand the actual meaning of Buddha's teaching, how that one can just reach into the depth. So, however, we go through all this kind of extensive study, but then ultimately we have to just reach to the emptiness that which does not have any more elaboration. And depending upon the establishment of the different levels of the emptiness, then there are also different levels of the yanas or the vehicles.
Tata Zobacham, then again, Korum Nelly Chita, you have a Masu Yavajima to repair Tossi, start the droops on it.
So like these, Dzogchen teachings, the instructions that according to that, one just, try to follow. There is nothing that we need to examine.
Nyansu Land don't Hiba Jido, Nyansu Land don't disown your mother, Tandele Cheron Tashi Kosumi.
So it explains or instructs, or this is the way, the nature, and this way you just, practice. It didn't say that, oh, now you can just examine on it. So it is just explained all the path, how one can just follow it, just doing that practice to attain enlightenment. There is no any benefit in just having hesitation or doubt. In Tibet, that in our place there are the one just lama that who used to scold all those scholars and just goes through all this kind of like examinings.
Tatani Dovachimandi Korta Lame Council Javati, Nelson Milan, Tele Repeshe, and Tele Yar, Nerejis and Nerejis at the Yaku, take it time to years.
It is just because that whatever that Lama instructed on the Dzogchen teachings, and then one started just kind of conceptualizing and thinking, oh, this maybe just means like this, or this maybe means like this way, and that way then they got scoldings. So it is just because not having that full trust and believe in the Lama, and then if one just have all this kind of concept and doubt, then one cannot really get the actual path or meaning. But in general, that to know, to study, that how to do the practice and how we can just understand the true meaning, and how we can just really know all about the Dharma, that so that one could just understand how to do the practice properly. So what one have just understood and what it is been just perfectly taught, on that if one just still constantly keep just arising on these arising conceptual thoughts and creating all this kind of doubts or hesitation, then there is no much benefit.
Penatoro di Kuna di Gona that they could the Ontavare Mare that the Joanna would not then they tend to Germans.
So, for example, like you visualize the Chorosa, that deity appearance, and then just thinking about this is just really good or not, beneficial or not, and then go on conceptualizing many things, then there is no much use. Of course, it is important. One have to just know how to visualize and how to meditate. That just it is just necessary. So unnecessarily just having all these kind of doubts and hesitations is just no any use. If it is something is not clear to oneself or one does not really know, then it is just okay to ask and then try to understand more in a deeper way. Yeah, so today there is a teaching for the wonders and then the second year Dzogchen. So rest of the Zalung practitioners and then the first year Dzogchen practitioners, you can leave for your practice.
Okay. Zalung Chidi